All right, if you're watching this, you're a geek. And we're going to talk about how to clean windows step by step. I'm not going to go over in this squeegee form, just going to give basic form. We'll watch videos for more advanced cleaning techniques. Let's talk about how to basic clean a window day one. Here's how we do it the Glass Geeks way. So first, let's make sure we got the appropriate ladder. I'm going to use this ladder right here and make sure it's 100% locked in place. And first thing we're going to do is take the screen out. Now when we're cleaning windows, we always want to start top window first because we're going to drip a bunch of dirty water on the bottom window. So grab your screen popper. It's just a paint can lid remover, and we're going to remove the screen. Now on these really old, kind of crusty screens, you have to determine is this an exterior removal screen or an interior removal screen. We're going to go on the inside of a window, and we'll talk about that here in a bit, but interior removal screens have tabs. So you lift up the window an inch, and then you click the tabs, and the window folds in, and then we take the screen out. So screens will be your worst nightmare starting off. So let's take these off. The tabs are on this side, so that means the window needs to be pushed this way to come out. See these little tabs? Now in old windows, these little tabs, they're gonna break a lot. They're gonna be extra brittle. Now this screen is a really hard screen to show. It's an old house, it's an old screen. There's a good chance this is in there and it's just old and crusty that we're going to bend it, taking it out. Now I'm gonna tell the customer, kind of our thing is we don't take screens out. We're happy to, and I'm gonna do it for you. I'm not gonna charge you anything, but if I bend it or break it, we can't be responsible. These are very old. I can already tell this has been bent before, so we're going to be extra careful with it, but if I break it, can't be responsible for it. So I can either not clean this window, or I can clean it and take the risk of bending the screen. We already told the customer this, they already know. So we're going to try to get one corner out. And there we go. All right, move up a little bit higher. There we go. Now, I promise you, most people would have bent this up even more. That was not an easy screen. Look, that already came off. I'm probably gonna tell the customer not even to put this back on, but that's a dirty screen. In our premium window clean service, we clean the screens and put them back on. For the purpose of this video, we are not gonna clean the screen. Sorry, so let's start also. So now, these windows haven't been cleaned in a long time, and we're going to use a razor blade because they have paint overspray. 95% of the windows you come across are not going to have paint overspray. But when we do, we want to have the customer sign a razor waiver, letting them know, hey, we're going to use a razor on the window. It's not going to scratch it, but however, if there's stucco or rocks or infused glass that's microscopic and we jar it loose, we can scratch it. Almost never happens, but we still want to let the customer know, hey, I'm going to take this overspray off, but can't be responsible if the window gets scratched. Generally, they're okay. They need the overspray off. If you happen to catch a window with overspray or tape on it or something out of the ordinary, cobwebs in the corner, you need to clean it. Otherwise, whether it was quoted for or not, otherwise the customer's going to look at it and they're not going to think we cleaned the window because there's a stupid piece of tape on it. So we got to make sure and get them perfect. So let's start. First thing we do is we take our track brush and we're going to clean the track. So I'm going to get all this loose dirt. Takes me a second to do. Now let's say you got a really dirty track and you forget to do this and you clean the window and all your water is going to come down on the track and you forgot, you're going to create a lot of mud. So that's why we do it first. We do it while it's dry. We do it while it's easy. Cleaning this exterior track comes with every service we offer. You have to clean the outside track. When we charge to clean tracks, we mean we lift up the windows and then clean underneath. That's what we charge for. This comes with every standard window. In this window, I'll talk a little bit about, has extra chalky frames. You can already tell my hands, just where I touch the window, are white. I'm gonna talk to you how we kind of combat that. So again, I'm not gonna talk about form too much, but we're gonna wet the window. I'm gonna have my sponge extra wet. And since it's nice and cool, I'm gonna do two at the same time here. Now I'm gonna razor it. When I'm razoring, I'm going up to the frame. And when I get close to the window, I'm gonna go towards the window so I don't clip the frame when I'm razoring. It's easy when you're going like this really fast that you hit the side and you're gonna cut it. Happens all the time. There we go, pretty clean. All right, step one. Now let's say this window was a really, really dirty window and it hasn't been cleaned in 5 years. It's really dirty. We're gonna use every window cleaner's trick. That's steel wool. There's a way to use wet wool and dry wool. I'm gonna show you both ways. So I'm gonna get the window wet again. And if you don't need steel wool, we don't need steel wool, but it does help you move quicker. So once the window is wet, the steel wool is going to glide across it really easy. And we basically picture frame in the window and then color it in. So I'm going to picture frame in the window, get the border, and I'm going to color it in. And then now I'm ready to squeege. So on a super basic, simple squeege technique, we're gonna dry the squeege. You saw me do that, I just naturally do that. And we're gonna start, we're just gonna go left to right. And when I get to the end, I'm gonna flick the rubber so I get everything. I'm gonna dry my squeege again. I usually use a towel, but super simple. Now, if your soap happened to dry on your window, well, you gotta get it wet again. You can't do it with the window dry. Otherwise, you're gonna leave squeegee streaks. So again, dry my squeege. Straight across. I'm keeping my rubber at a 45-degree angle on the glass. And just barely pushing down on it. Makes a perfect squeege. That's a clean window. Now I'm gonna have two rags on me. My slop rag is what I call it, and my clean rag. Now my clean rag only touches the glass when it's clean. My slop rag is just kind of what I use to wipe down the frame, kind of get any loose dirt. This rag stays wet, it's gonna collect the dirt. This rag only touches the glass. I'm gonna make sure I get that border really good. I get my corners. Corners are the most common things on windows that are missed. Now this window, I can also see there's scratches on it. Now, those scratches were already there, and I'm noticing it, like they're squiggly. They're clearly not razor marks because I'm not going like this with a razor like I'm drawing like a kindergartner with a crown. But these scratches, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna tell the customer right away. Because let's say, what is gonna happen if, let's say we're done, we're gone, and the customer goes in the next day or two and they're looking out their window and they see scratches. They're immediately gonna think, this is the window cleaner, I knew it, he scratched my stuff. Now, we didn't. Like, this is the first time they've seen clean windows in years. So who knows how long those scratches have been there. It definitely wasn't us. So we wanna make sure, drop everything we're doing, and we're gonna go and tell the client, hey, I wanted you to know, I noticed on a lot of these windows, there's scratches up here. And I want you to be aware of it before I continue cleaning. And I'll walk them over here, show them the scratches. That way they know. So let's clean these bottom two. Sometimes when these frames are really chalky, is when we're using our rag and this is wet, it's just gonna leave chalky on the side. So what I'll do is I'll just clean them real quick and then just come back when they're dry, 5 minutes later or something. Could be hours later, but I'll just come back and hit them with a dry piece of steel wool and not even touch the frame, and that'll take the chalkiness away. Now, we'll do this window real quick. I'm gonna do it fast. Now you also wanna make sure when you're cleaning windows, especially in the summertime, I'm gonna hit all the windows that are gonna get sun on them. Because if you're cleaning windows in the sun at 2 o'clock in July or August, when it's over 90 degrees, or worse, over 100 degrees, you're not cleaning that window. It is so stinking hot. The second a mop touches it, it's gone. So you gotta clean it super fast, super wet, and then squeegee it immediately before it dries. Cleaning windows in the summertime can be tough. So clean the windows that are gonna get direct sun on it first. Save your patio windows, your windows in the shade, save those to the last. You'll thank yourself. Slop rag. I'm gonna clean these tracks with all my dirty water down here now. I can already see on the inside we got some water on the seal, so we want to make sure we don't leave that there. These windows probably aren't, very sealed, so somehow water dripped down in there, or if whoever cleaned the inside windows left a dirty drip. I'm not quite sure yet. These did not need steel wool, so I did not use steel wool. And then to use dry steel wool afterwards. So 2 different methods, right? Wet steel wool. The wet wool, it's cash at the end of the day. Throw it away. Don't leave it in the pile of your cars. Don't leave it in the back of the truck. Throw away your wet steel wool. These rust makes a mess everywhere. Dry steel wool, you can use day after day, as long as you didn't wither it down. But dry steel wool will just go on afterwards and just buff it where we need to, get the little window buggers off. So that's how we clean a window, and then we're gonna put back on the screen. For the purpose of the video, I'll put back on this screen, and you can watch me probably struggle with it so you know you're not alone. But I would probably convince this customer just to leave that screen off. I'll even take my slop rag. This is pretty dirty on the frame. See that? I mean, my rag's wet. It takes me an extra second just to kind of wipe the frame down. I'll do that for him. All right. These side-to-side ones are a little harder than your up and down ones. Up and down ones are most common. All right. Let's go inside. Let's grab all our stuff here. Now we're inside. So a couple things we want to know. When we're coming inside, I'm going to put on booties. I'm going to take my shoes off. I'm going to be respectful of people's homes. We're not going to carry dirty, muddy footprints or put some booties over your shoes. And let's go ahead and clean these 2 windows that we did. Did anyone clean these inside windows yet? They were clean? Mm-hmm. All right, then let's pick it apart. So, when we do clean an inside window, I want to make sure my mop is not super wet. That's one thing. Otherwise, you're going to track dirty water everywhere. When we clean an inside window here, the seal, I'm going to bang it off a little bit, and I'm going to put it back in my squeegee belt, which I'm not wearing here at the moment. I'm going to take my slop towel, and I'm going to clean off this window seal. If you do not clean off the window sill, it looks like you made a mess or you didn't clean the window. If you left a cobweb in the corner, but it wasn't on the window, it's gonna look like you didn't clean the window. Get it? When we finish squeegeeing this, we're gonna clean the top of the locks as well. Takes us 1.5 seconds to do. It looks better. Now, before we leave the inside, you 100% have to make sure we lock the windows. This is how we know you're done with the windows. It's 100%. If you leave the windows unlocked and the client sees it, what does that potentially tell the customer? They've left some contractors in, we left windows. Did they leave windows so they could come back or tell their buddies to break in? You never know what's going through their head. Or you don't want them to get robbed anyways because they're our clients. So we want to make sure we unlock the windows. They're not going to go back and check every single window and make sure it's locked after us. That's our job. If they have blinds, when we're raising blinds, we're going to put our hand underneath the blind and we're going to pull the string and we're going to lift the weight. I am not going to put all the weight on the string. I've broken strings, blinds have come down. Don't do that. Do it properly, lift it up, pull the string. I wish we had blinds so I can show. And when we're letting down, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna hit the string and I'm gonna let it down nice and soft. I'm gonna leave the blinds open, right, to where I can see my clean windows and not fully closed. I'm gonna make sure all the furniture is moved back. I'm gonna make sure my ladder didn't make a mess. I'm gonna make sure all my locks are done. I'm gonna make sure the tops of all my locks are clean. I'm gonna make sure all my window sills are clean. And I'm gonna move to the next one. When we're cleaning tracks, let's say we are cleaning tracks on this one. Tracks is what we define as this part right here. Now the outside track was clean, the inside track wasn't. So we get our track brush and we brush it. We add track vacuums, and we can brush it and vacuum it up. This one's not really that dusty, but it is dirty. So I'm gonna take my slop towel again, and we're gonna clean this track. Still needs a little cleaning, so I'm just gonna get it wet with my sponge, with my mop. And then I'll finish. Now we don't get all the sides, but I am gonna clean the first 6 inches. And then what's immediately gonna happen when we shut this window, if there's any dirt right here, which there is, because it was just sitting on dirt, it's gonna look dirty. Customer's gonna come behind you and be like, hey, that didn't even look clean. So we're just gonna hit this bottom section right here as well. And there we go. Now, sometimes if they're really dirty, and I will always do this, I should have this for the purpose of the video, but we carry squirt bottles, and you put it on a stream, and you squirt the corners, and it knocks out these corners really, really good. Luckily, these ones were pretty clean, and I can reach them pretty quick. Shut the window, lock it, lock it. Shoot this. This is clean. All right, cameraman, is there anything I might have missed on cleaning windows?
No.
All right, just make sure before you leave and before you get down on a ladder, you check every angle, get your dry steel wool, hit your little smudges, especially when you're on a second story and you're on a ladder on the outside. You do not want to get the ladder and go back up there. Make sure those are 100% perfect. Normally it works good to mirror someone, so someone's cleaning the outside while someone's cleaning the inside, and you go with each other around the house. And one last tip, when you start, wherever it is you start on the home, start at this window, go around the entire perimeter, do not skip a window, and then finish right where you left off. If you don't clean every single window and go around the perimeter in order, you will forget windows. 100% happens all the time. Don't skip windows, do them all, stay in the same thing. Don't do left side, right side, then come back. Only situation you might do that is in summertime. You leave the back patio till the end because it's covered, you're not gonna get sunlight. So That's it. Welcome to the team. Let me know if you have any questions and watch the other videos for squeegee techniques.